Good afternoon. I'm David Ramos from Engineering 1100. Um, this is my individual project presentation for NAE4, Project ABEFA, and short for A Better Education for All. So here's my design. As you can see, I was really trying to go for a VR. So the reason my headset works very well is because the shortcomings in Jakarta are vast, they're very vast, but one we really wanted to focus on was the distribution of educational equity. So Jakarta has a problem at micromanaging where the where top tier professors go in the city, and being a city of population of 30 million with the inner city and outer city neighborhoods, it would probably be very hard for everybody to get a proper education, and that's something where they really struggle. Besides political issues, but this educational equity, we could really fix that through this invention because we could have online lectures, we could have virtual lectures that would connect students from anywhere in Jakarta across the city with top tier professors. And this is what we can do as engineers to help. Along with the headset, I do want to develop like a software that would be tuned specifically for this headset. And the way I developed this product was through how would VR be efficient for Jakarta, and also supporting products like a hub. I think making hubs kind of like Wi-Fi servers around Jakarta, building Wi-Fi servers to have a private internet connection for those students. Like kind of like a public hotspot, making many of these and sending them around the city, and also putting these in schools, in every school, so that those students can have a more reliable internet access, so that the VR works very efficiently where there's no lag. Some barriers, specifically in Jakarta, would be students may not have reliable internet, so that's how these hubs can fix that. Students may not have reliable power source, so that's why in my design I want to have an external battery pack, so that way, if they take this home, this product, they still have enough, you know, power source for them to be able to use it at home. Then come the next day and recharge it if they don't have a reliable power source at home. Also, I wanted to make it my product. I really wanted to make it a sealant, like try to have as little bit of ports as possible, so that could help because Jakarta has a problem with floods, and I'm sure many times those waters get into people's homes, damage people's things. So if we could minimize the amount of ports, I think that would be really useful to making it water resistant. Expensive. Like I said earlier, there's other products similar like portable VRs that are around $200. So we can assume production would be in the low 80s to $100, especially if we use recyclable technology. Like I said, a Galaxy S7 is able to run technology like this, the internals, and those are going for like $90 in today's market. So I think it would be very cheap and very affordable, so that theoretically again the government can fund it. So the hub that I want to build would be like a server hub, um, where students can get their own personalized ID and password, and they could log onto the software in the VR. And I think this is important because so if we were just to give them you know a cheap VR where like they would use their own phone, that would really, the way that these VRs work would depend on the person's phone and stuff like that. So if we could have servers on the headsets and stuff like that, they don't have to rely on anything. They don't have to supply anything for themselves. To just we create this awesome product and we give it to them, and this could help them. Also, the software would be very like a combination of VR chat and Blackboard, where they can learn from home. Have downloadable lectures so that they can watch at home. I wanted to make this a very take-home product and also use it at school. Ideally, they could use this product at school for like online lectures with professionals with very good professors across the city, and at home they could use this as a studying tool. And I think something I missed in the beginning was the VR headset would have a built-in screen, which would again would would also help for the student having to have their own phone, because a lot of VRs in today's market, like portable ones, you would use your own phone. It's like a headset, and you just put your own phone in there. But we have a built-in screen. This would help, along with the software, for like the student to not have to be depending on any of their own belongings, like of having like the best phone that would have the best processor for it, and just solely dependent on the product. And the reason the learning goggles work so well is again just because it's very cost effective. Jakarta has the biggest flaw Jakarta has is inclusion of outer city kids and educational equity. So this connects teachers and students. They're very hard to get to. An article I read was that uh, they could even potentially use this as to do like the impossible, such as like virtual field trips, and I think that would really help students who are very much left out in school activities, or help students in low income areas. Having virtual field trips would be very important. Also, in another article, where in worldbank.org, this would help improve the management of the delivery of education for all, including school management, financial transfers, and teacher development as such. And I really feel that my product fits in our team matrix and as well as my matrix. The team, I already just talked about my matrix, but here's a team matrix. As far as educational growth, again, number one, this is our main priority. For accessibility, I feel like it is very accessible when it comes to it's very accessible when it comes to how the product fits on people and stuff like that. Reliability, you know, that's something we could work on ourselves, like with software as well, when we develop a software specifically for this product. Educational integrity, again, goes along with the level of education that they will be receiving, and with this is with this product, that will be a gap that a very big gap that Jakarta is lacking in, and we could minimize that gap. And economic efficiency, and our team and my team was the last ranked, but also something important. I think also as well that this could be very economically efficient, around $100. The government would be more than likely to want to fund this. And these are articles I used in the research of my product and such. Thank you. Learning VR headset. The construct of this would probably be like a soft touch rubber, and the front would be a open, kind of like an open case for the hand controls, for the hand tracking. The hand tracking. I'm still deciding between either having a hand tracker like this with a traditional trigger handles like most other VRs do, or having like a pencil, because this is for educational purposes, and I think a pencil in a way would very much so simulate that. What I want to add to my design is add an external battery pack for longer life. Obviously, I want to have a internal battery pack, but this will help students who may not have a reliable power source at home. It being a third world country and many low impoverished kids being affected by this, I think that's very important to add the external battery pack. Here's the right here, as you can see, is a band that would go around the back of the head and a band over the head, and also this black right here would be to go over the person's ears, to have built-in audio as well, to have that 360 audio depth of field for the student and for the online lectures. So the way I would rate my design criteria and my design would be, so first of all, educational growth. Um, I feel like this is very friendly focused. Later on, I will show something I want to add along with this, like a software. I do want to create a software, but this is very educationally. It's very focused on educational growth, economic efficiency. So similar devices in the market. Not there's no educational VRs in the market, but there is wireless portable VRs in the market that are sell for about $200. So that means we could estimate that production will be less than about $100 or around $100 because companies would obviously want to make profit. So these would be around that price. Um, Here's some features I would want to add. Uh, I think also it's very fit for reliability because I want to make it into a. The reason I want to make it kind of like a soft rubber touch is because if it gets impacted or something, it kind of is able to absorb the impact. Um, my second biggest criteria, I put economic efficiency again. I really think this could be a very affordable build, especially if we use recycled technology. Old Samsung Galaxy S7s that came out 3 years ago can run VR like this. So if we could, if old Samsung Galaxies can their hardware can run VR like that, we can find cheap technology to produce this VR. And I think that's also very important because theoretically we would want like the funding for education in Jakarta to fund this to make it easily accessible to students. My fourth criteria was accessibility. I think accessibility just automatically goes like I wouldn't make it too important, but at the same time, it is one of the. It has to be a very a very important point as accessibility as in like how somebody can use it or this is very resizable so it would fit anybody. And also the last would be educational integrity. Um, so these are all very important points, but in order, this is how we rank them. But educational integrity would be last just because um, for me that means like the type of education they're getting, and I think because we really hit that because that's something we're trying to focus on educational integrity in Jakarta, and this is how I would rate my my idea. I feel like it hits all those targets, and this is my matrix, and these are also the same matrix for my group, except for my group, the rankings are a little bit differently, but these criterias and process discussions are all the same for my group.